Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Coach Craig Sports. Today is Wednesday, October 26th, and this is the NBA DFS video for today. So in today's video, I'll be doing a quick little recap of yesterday's picks, seeing how they turned out, talking about the injuries in play for today's slate. It is a 10-game main slate overall, and then going over to DraftKings and FanDuel and talking about my core picks for today. But without further ado, we'll get started with a recap of yesterday's picks. On the DraftKings side, we had CJ McCollum at the point guard position, $8,000, looking for 40 points out. He only got to 35 yesterday, so unfortunately it was a miss. Only shot 6 for 20 from the field, so a little bit of a lackluster day there overall. If he makes a couple more shots, definitely would have paid off for his price tag. At shooting guard, we had Bradley Beal at $8,400. Looking for 42 points on, got to 26.5. He was a miss, obviously. He only ended up playing 22 minutes in this game. Left the game with an injury, ended up coming back. Then there was a little bit of blowout in this game, so just not a favorable game for him overall. Then at small forward, we had Norman Powell, probably the chalkiest player on the entire slate yesterday. $3,900, looking for 19-20 points on, got to 10.5. He was a mess. He only shot 3 for 10 from the field and just didn't do a whole heck of a lot else otherwise. At power forward, we had Nick Batum, $3,200, looking for 16 points on, got to 17.5, only ended up playing 18 minutes in this game. Otherwise, he would have been a little bit better as well, but he was a hit on yesterday's slate. And then last but not least, we have Zubac at $5,900, got to 45.5. He was a hit. Obviously, when he does play the minutes, he is capable of putting up very big performances overall. So only 2 out of 5 on the DraftKings side yesterday, a little bit rougher day overall. And then on FanDuel, we had Reggie Jackson at point guard at $4,500. Super cheap price tag, should have been easy to pay off, but only got to 18.6. He was a miss, shot 4 for 17 from the field, and he just can't shoot the ball anymore apparently because I don't even know why, but just wasn't very good yesterday overall. CJ McCollum, we had at shooting guard, $8,300. Looked like a really good play with everybody else kind of missing for the Pelicans. Once again, was only 6 for 20 from the field. Ended up with 33.5 points, so he was a mess on FanDuel as well. Norman Powell, once again, was that very chalky player. And his price tag was $3,900, so we were only looking for 19-20 points on him. He got to 8.4, so he was a mess. I do want to note that I did make a mistake. He was $4,800 on DraftKings. I'm not sure why I put $3,900 over there. I was transferring the FanDuel price tag over for whatever reason. Then we had Kristaps Porzingis at power forward, $7,400, looking for 37 points on him. Got to 28.4, so obviously he was a mess. Only ended up playing 25 minutes in this game. He had some foul trouble, plus the blowout overall really didn't help him. Then last but not least, we had Zubac at $5,700. Looking for 29 points on him, got to 49.8, so he was a hit once again. A little bit of a rougher day overall. Sometimes these smaller slates are a little bit difficult to figure out. Chased a little bit of chalk, and it just did not end up working out yesterday overall, plus some bad shooting performances and a little bit of injury to Bradley Beal overall. But with that being said, today is a brand new day, and we'll be right back at it with some core picks. But first of all, we're going to get over to the injuries for today's slate. And as I already mentioned, it is a 10-game slate overall, starting at 7 o'clock Eastern time, where we do have 2 games going off right away. The Orlando Magic are without Markelle Fultz, Gary Harris, Jonathan Isaac, Jalen Suggs, and Mo Wagner, so exact same as the last time out. Cleveland Cavaliers are without Ricky Rubio and Dylan Windler once again, but now Darius Garland joins them out tonight. Donovan Mitchell is going to look like a pretty solid play. Karis LeVert should be a little bit better play tonight overall. We'll see who ends up in that starting lineup, whether it's an Isaac Okoro, whether it's a Cedi Osman, or someone else. Then we move over to the Atlanta Hawks, who were without Bogdan Bogdanovic once again. And then Justin Holiday is listed as questionable, but he's just a bench piece at this point in time. We'll see whether or not he plays or not. Then for the Detroit Pistons, they're without Marvin Bagley once again. Alex Burks listed as a game-time decision, but I do not expect him to play tonight. Then we move over to the Brooklyn Nets, who are without Seth Curry, Markieff Morris, and TJ Warren. So no changes there at this point in time. For the Milwaukee Bucks, they're without Pat Connaughton, Joe Ingles, and Chris Middleton once again. So should be a pretty similar lineup for them overall. We'll see whether or not Javon Carter stays in that starting lineup or not. Moving down to the Charlotte Hornets, this is kind of the big one today. LaMelo Ball is obviously out once again. Terry Rozier is doubtful. So looking like we're probably going to get Dennis Smith Jr. at that starting point guard position. He's kind of priced up on both sides though, so not a ton of value there overall. But look at guys like Kelly Oubre and Gordon Hayward as some pretty good plays overall. Cody Martin is also doubtful today as well. For the New York Knicks, they're just without Quentin Grimes once again. He's already been ruled out. And then we move down to the Philadelphia 76ers, who have D'Anthony Melton. He is questionable to play today. If he doesn't end up playing, it's probably just going to be Shake Milton taking his place off the bench. Otherwise, if he does end up playing, he might be a little bit more limited. Not anybody that we were particularly interested in DFS either way, though. For the Toronto Raptors, Otto Porter Jr. is doubtful to play once again. Scotty Barnes listed as questionable. We'll see whether or not he's back tonight or not. Personally, I don't expect him to be back, but we'll just have to see. Then we move over to the Pacers. Miles Turner is officially listed as questionable. We'll see if he makes his return tonight or not. And then Daniel Tice listed as a game time decision. May or may not be in the rotation either way if he does end up playing. For the Chicago Bulls, Lonzo Ball's out once again, so no major changes there. San Antonio Spurs looking like they'll be without Devin Vassell tonight. He is a game time decision, but doubtful, so he's unlikely to play with some knee soreness. Josh Primo could take his place in the starting lineup. Expect Primo and Josh Richardson both to look like pretty solid plays overall on both sides today. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, they are without Kyle Anderson once again. Austin Rivers is doubtful to play, and then Luka Garza listed as inactive. He is going to the G League team overall. Then we move down to the Houston Rockets, who are without Ty Washington. Sengun is out once again due to illness, and then Bruno Fernando also out. Jayshawn Tate is listed as questionable. We'll see whether or not he plays tonight or not. If he ends up playing, if he's in that starting lineup, could change up a lot of things, but if he doesn't play, I like Kenyon Martin Jr. a lot once again tonight. He's also listed as KJ Martin, I believe, on DraftKings as well. Then we move over to the Utah Jazz, who were just without Udoka Azubuike once again, so no changes there. For Los Angeles Lakers, they're without Cole Switter, Dennis Schroeder, Thomas Bryant, and then Russell Westbrook is listed as doubtful for tonight's game, so there should be more minutes moving around for guys like Kendrick Nunn, Patrick Beverly, Lonnie Walker, Austin Reeves, and maybe even a couple other guys as well. LeBron James and Anthony Davis, both listed as probable and expected to play tonight. For the Denver Nuggets, Colin Gillespie's out once again. Michael Porter Jr. listed as questionable. We'll see whether or not he plays or not. And then Jeff Green is listed as a game-time decision, but expected to play. And then last but not least, we have the Miami Heat, who are without Victor Oladipo and Omar Yurtseven once again. Caleb Martin makes his return to the lineup after serving a one-game suspension. And then for the Portland Trailblazers, Trenton Wofford, Olivier Sarr, Gary Payton II are all out. And then Justice Winslow is listed as questionable to play. I believe he missed the last time out as well. But with that being said, that's a quick little rundown on all the injuries in play for tonight's slate. Obviously, a couple that we'll be looking at throughout the day. Michael Porter Jr. is going to be a big one. Jayshawn Tate, Scotty Barnes, Miles Turner if he does end up playing or not. And then I'll also post any updates in terms of injuries down in the comments throughout the day to keep you guys as updated as possible. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to DraftKings and talk about my picks over there. So we're going to start off at the point guard position. You're probably sick at this point in time of hearing me talk about Trey Jones. He's $5,500, looking for 27, 28 points. Averaging almost 30 on the season, got him projected for 29, 30 points tonight. Definitely looking like a pretty good play once again. Once again, they are playing the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's a homecoming game for Trey Jones, so maybe a little bit more amped up for that as well, especially since he should have some of his family in attendance overall. Then we move down to shooting guard with Karis LeVert, $6,200. You're looking for 31 points out. He's averaging about 29 so far on the season. There is no Darius Garland tonight. A little bit of usage to go around. Some of that should land in favor of Karis LeVert tonight. Going against a favorable matchup against the Orlando Magic. Currently having projected for 32 points tonight, but definitely does have some upside for more as well. Then in small forward, we're going with KJ Martin, Kenyon Martin Jr. He is $4,500, looking for 22, 23 points out. Currently having projected for 23 points tonight. This is a pick that could change throughout the day if we do get news that Jayshawn Tate is playing tonight, though. So definitely keep that in mind. But as of right now, looking like a pretty solid play overall. Then at power forward, we have Keldon Johnson for the Spurs. He's $6,800, looking for 34 points out. He's averaging 37 so far on the season. Currently I'm projected for about 36, 37 points tonight, but definitely has some upside for more and could be scoring the ball a little bit more with Devin Vassell not in the mix tonight as well. And then last but not least, we have Kelly Olynyk at the center position, $5,600, looking for 28 points out. Essentially what he's been averaging so far on the season. Currently I'm projected for about 29 fantasy points tonight. Has a little bit upside for more as well in a game that should be pretty favorable against this Houston Rockets team. But with that being said, if you go with these five players that I do have listed here, you have $21,400 remaining, just over $7,100 per player. So if you want to pay up for a stud, you can definitely do that on tonight's slate. Giannis is probably going to be the most popular one. But there is Nikola Jokic, there's Joel Embiid, there's Kevin Durant, there's James Harden. There's plenty of different options out there tonight if you want to pay up for players. Or if you want to take a little bit more balanced build, that's perfectly fine as well. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to FanDuel and talk about my core picks over there as well. So FanDuel is going to be a little bit different story. At the point guard position at this point in time, I have Cole Anthony, $6,100. Looking for 31 points out. He's averaging 32 fantasy points per game so far on the season. Currently, I'm projected for about 31 fantasy points. Definitely has some upside for more. Could be an interesting little matchup for him versus this Cleveland team overall. We'll see whether or not he gets Donovan Mitchell on him most of the game or not, but shouldn't make too big a difference overall there, but has some upside, looking like one of the better value point guard plays so far early on in the day. This definitely could change throughout the day as well, though. Then in shooting guard, we have Karis LeVert at $5,900. Looking for 29, 30 points on him. He's averaging about 28 fantasy points per game so far in the season. Everything I said about him still applies from DraftKings. There is no Darius Garland tonight. Should get a little bit more usage. A very favorable matchup against the Orlando Magic. So definitely check out Karis LeVert once again tonight. And then also with that being said, I currently have him projected for 31 fantasy points on the FanDuel side tonight, but he definitely has some upside for more as well. And then at small forward, we're going to Gordon Hayward. There is no Terry Rozier. There's no LaMelo Ball. The usage kind of has to go somewhere. You'd expect it to kind of go to Gordon Hayward tonight, $6,500. Looking for 32, 33 points on him. He's averaging just under 31 so far this season. Currently, I'm projected for 34 fantasy points tonight. Definitely could be an intriguing matchup versus the Knicks, who you kind of think is this slower team, want to play a lot of defense under Tom Thibodeau, but their pace did go up a little bit last year. They weren't quite as great on defense. Maybe that trend continues this year, and maybe Gordon Hayward looks like a pretty good play overall. Then in power forward, we have Kenyon Martin Jr. once again, $4,200, looking for 21 fantasy points on. Currently, I'm projected for 23 fantasy points tonight. Could be a pretty favorable matchup once again versus this Utah Jazz team. Once again, just make sure Jae'Sean Tate is not playing. But if he does end up playing, I will post an update to the core as we get closer to lock. And then last but not least, we have Kelly Olynyk at the center position, $5,300. Looking for 26, 27 points out of him. He's averaging just over 26 fantasy points per game on the season. Currently, I'm projected for 29 fantasy points tonight. Definitely has some upside for more. Could be a pretty interesting spot for him once again. And at the same time, you could slide him over to the power forward position if you want to play one of those high-end centers, Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid. If you want to play anybody else at center, you could always move Kelly Olynyk to power forward as well. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players that I do have listed here, you have $32,000 remaining, $8,000 per player. So definitely a lot of room and flexibility if you want to pay up for a couple studs tonight. Maybe you want to put Nikola Jokic and Giannis Antetokounmpo in your lineup together. You could definitely do that. That's definitely a viable strategy tonight, and then fill out the rest of your roster from there. Or if you want to do a little bit more balance build, just build a whole bunch of guys around 8,000. You can definitely make that work as well. Definitely a lot of options on the FanDuel side overall tonight. But with that being said, these are my core picks for both FanDuel and DraftKings for today, October 26th. As always, if you have any questions related to NBA DFS, be sure to leave them down in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Also, be sure to let me know your favorite play on tonight's slate, whether it's someone from my core 5 picks for either site, or whether it's somebody else you guys think I missed. Definitely interested in hearing what you have to say. Also, be sure to let me know if that play is on FanDuel or DraftKings, or even both. Definitely interested in which sites you guys play on, and the pricing does vary a little bit site to site as well. And then as always, I'll be listing the injury updates as they come out throughout the day. I'll try to get as many starting lineups as well. Maybe some of the later games I might miss and been a little bit hit or miss on that lately, but definitely getting those early ones out definitely is a priority to me today. And as always, if you guys have any questions like I already mentioned, please do not hesitate to ask. But with that being said, if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate it. Helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. At this point in time, we got NFL DFS and NBA DFS. And then with that being said, if you're a new or current subscriber who's yet to do so, also be sure to hit that notification bell down below. It's going to let you know every single time I post up a new video, go live for a live stream. Definitely want to make sure that you're on top of that so you get all the latest content so that I can help you as much as possible, especially if you guys have any questions related to the DFS slates that I do cover. And like I've been saying, I do the NFL DFS live streams for Monday night and Thursday night football, mainly focused on the DraftKings single game slate. I know there's a couple people that play on FanDuel as well, so try to touch on that if I do have the time to do so. There's the NFL weekly core play videos in addition to the NBA DFS core pick videos, which are on the daily Monday through Friday. As I've been mentioning, try to get some in on the weekends. Not going to be guaranteed to be every weekend, but definitely appreciate everyone that does follow me for these videos in general. Also, be sure to check out the Patreon at patreon.com/CoachCraigSports. I've been putting up some of my NBA DFS player pools there. Everybody that's projecting over 5 times for me on the day. As I do my projections in the morning, I make a list of them. If you guys find that helpful, definitely be sure to check that out as well. But with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed. And then last but not least, special shout out to each and every one of you watching today's video. I truly do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Definitely means a lot to me, and I hope each and every one of you has a great rest of your day.